Everybody talks about the May 18th, 1980 eruption of Mount St. Helens, but what about the June 12th eruption of Mount St. Helens in that same year? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you that eruption from 30,000 feet up in the sky. Going from Portland to Seattle, I happened to be going right by Mount St. Helens, and the pilot said, "Hey, out your right window, you'll see Mount St. Helens erupting." And it was on June 12th, 1980. There was a lot of eruptions that happened after the big eruption because it had to form the dome again, or as much as it could anyway. And we're going to enhance this video with an AI tool that I like to use, coming right up. Hey, Steve Klein here with Images in Motion. In the last episode, we talked about Mount St. Helens. The Mount St. Helens eruption of May 18th, 1980. That was 45 years ago. And we did this fun photo because I didn't have my camera like I thought I did when I went to Oaks Park, because I knew that Oaks Park had the big Ferris wheel, the tall, whatever it was, 200, 300 foot Ferris wheel. And I know I saw Mount St. Helens from that vantage point. And I had my dad bring me, and well, I didn't bring my camera. So to replicate it, we used this one. We used AI and created this one. It was kind of funny. It wasn't even close, but it kind of gives you an idea. This mountain was actually farther away. It was way farther, well, probably about twice as farther as it looks here. It looks like it's almost right over the city of Portland, but that's not how it really is. But in this episode, we're going to continue that. And this time I'm going to actually show you some footage that I had, some rare footage of a video that I took of Mount St. Helens erupting after May 18th. Yeah, you're probably thinking, well, Steve, I thought it already erupted and that was it. No, it actually erupted like several times since then. And this was another time where it was erupting, and it was kind of still going through a thing, and we didn't know when it was going to stop. And it finally stopped around almost a year later. It was building the dome up after it blew its top, literally blew its top. So it's this video right here. Let me share it with you. So this is a silent movie that I was taking on my way to Hawaii for the very first time in 1980. And we went from Portland to Seattle, and then an adjacent connecting flight from Seattle to Hawaii. But way off in the distance here. And by the way, this video is smaller in scale because it was on Super 8 millimeter. And when I had them transfer it to film, this is how it is. Let me expand this to see if we can get it bigger. Now, there's a lot of static in this film. I'm not sure if we can enhance it too much, but I'm going to try. See way in the back there? That's the plume of the June 12th, 1980 eruption of Mount St. Helens. We just happened to be flying over. It was a Thursday. We just happened to be flying over, and the pilot motioned to us, and I was on that side of the plane, so it was pretty wild that I got this silent footage of Mount St. Helens erupting on June 12th, 1980. And so I wanted to see, how many of these eruptions had there been over time. So I asked ChatGPT to give me a list of the eruptions. So let me see if I can share this with you here. So I said, did Mount St. Helens erupt after the major eruption? And if so, how long, how many times? And it said, yes, it had a lot of different after eruptions after the major eruption of May 18th. In fact, the 1980 eruption marked the beginning of an extended eruptions. So, and this is interesting right here. It says after the May 18th, the large eruption, it has the subsequent eruptions, May 25th. And then here's the one I just showed you on that silent movie, June 12th, 1980, explosive eruption. Same with it. And then when they say explosion eruption, that means it's just like stuff is expelling into the atmosphere. It's going above the clouds. And that was pretty, the first one was incredible. It was just so much power. They were shooting boulders up in the ocean, up in the atmosphere. It was just crazy. But this was interesting too, just to see all of these dates here. June 12th, then July 22nd, August 7th, October 16th and 18th, October 21st, November, and then December. And then it finally kind of wound down a little bit. But that is incredible. And so what I would do is see if we can take this footage, this old silent movie footage that I have, and see if we can restore it into at least a little bit clearer, to see if we can see the plume a little bit better. Because, let's face it, this old footage I have is pretty grainy. Look at this. It's just, and there's a reflection here in the window of the plane. I try to zoom in on it and we didn't have any stabilization back in the day. So this will be fun to see if we can get this a little bit better. So without further ado, let's take this first I'm going to take it into Premiere Pro because I want to cut it. And what I mean by cut it is I want to just take that section out. This is a 5-minute reel. Back then you only got 5 minutes at a time. Each little cartridge was 5 minutes and you had to develop like you would develop film. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to take it into Premiere Pro. So let's do that now. Okay, so here we are. This is it. 1980 Hawaiian Trip Part 1. And notice that says 8 minutes and 13 seconds. I probably spliced a few together. And by the way, splicing back then, let me tell you, splicing was taking a film together, putting it on a little platform and using real splicing tape. Real splicing tape. Not just a little thing you can do on this digital thing we can do today. Let me tell you something. Back in my day. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to go and bring it into, like I said, Premiere. And we're going to go into, and this is from me last time because I did the Part 1 of Oaks Park. This is like a weird Inception thing. Here's me and there's me. Pointing this way and I'm pointing that way. And we're going to go and take this, we're going to make another folder here called Part 2. And we're going to call this Mount St. Helens, June 12th, 1980. All right, so now I'm going to take this film here and just going to drag it right into there. Okay. Now, I could do some really fancy things with this. I can actually upscale it here maybe, but I'm not going to do that because I'm going to use another upscaler. I just want to trim it. Now, I could have trimmed it just, I could have trimmed it just where I was. I could have trimmed it like right here, but that always doesn't, it not all the time works that well. So I want to actually create a new sequence with this. And by the way, when you do this, drag into the new item, it creates the sequence based on the image that you were using. So if you were using, like right now, this says MP2, that's an older file format. It's really an older version of the MP4. It's not really, but it's just an older version. And some codecs don't even recognize MP2 anymore. So I've had situations where that's happened. So there we are getting to Hawaii. I took a lot of plane trip. It looks like I used a whole reel on just the plane trip. And as you can see right there, we're flying into Pearl Harbor. There's a naval vessel coming into Pearl Harbor. Is that cool? Anyway, so I'm going to take this, I'm going to chop it right when we see it. Maybe I'll get a little bit of the plane. Maybe I'll actually, I don't want to get too much of the beginning if it's not pertinent to what we're filming. There we go. So now I'm going to take it all the way to where we don't see it anymore. Right there it is. And there it's not. So right there. So I think right there. So let me see how many. So that's 1 minute and 22 seconds around there. So I'm going to render this and notice that it kept the same weird NTSC 720 by 480. That's a weird format, but I'm going to keep it. I'm going to say export. Now there's not going to be any audio with this, so I'm just going to go ahead. It should be pretty quick, and it is. All right, so now it's done. Let's see. So now that that's done, we're going to take that into Topaz, which is a tool that I use to enhance videos using AI. So let's take a look at this. All right, now I'm in Topaz Video AI. There's two different ones I use. I use either it's both of them are Topaz, but they're Topaz. One's called Topaz Video Enhance AI, and then this one's called Topaz Video AI. Each one's a little bit different flavor. The one that's enhance is this one here, and this is just a little bit newer model. I like using the older one in certain cases, and I think this one, or actually this is the older. I think this is the older one. Okay, so now I'm just going to drag and drop this into this 4.1.2, which is what I like to use. I'm going to close that other one. All right, so now you'll see over here is you got a bunch of different selections here. I have a lot of presets here where I've actually used it to deinterlace some of the older films that were interlaced, which is just, it's another way of, it's the frames and the way they have interoperability. There's these little lines basically is what it is in the film, and then you can remove them from doing, you can change it to more progressive doing that. And then once you do a deinterlace, then you can do other things from there. I usually try and do it in 2 steps, and I recommend that as well. I recommend doing it in 2 steps. First deinterlaced. Once you have a deinterlaced video rendered, then you can take it from there. So what I want to do is I want to look at this footage in this tool. So on the left is the original, and on the right it says original as well. So we're seeing 2 different originals. Oh, I'm seeing everything, even the Hawaii one. So where's my? Oh, okay. I need to bring. Okay, I didn't go to my rendered folder. I need to go back to the rendered folder to get that other. Let me do that really quick. Okay, so this is the shorter version. This is what we want. So let me remove this from close inputs. Okay, so now we're going to take this one and drop it in there. There we go. Yeah. So this is a little bit shorter. So it's just that grainy, sort of cloudy day sort of thing. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go over here, and there's some resolution things we can do. This is the original. We can upscale it twice. We can upscale it 4 times. I don't know really if I want to go upscale 4 times because that's getting close to 4K. This is not even HD, but there's no real interlace here that I have to worry about, which is good. I don't see any, but there is a lot of shakiness to it. Do you notice that? If I push the stabilization on, it's not really giving us any. I want to get a shaky part so we can see if it'll, like right there. So what I want to do is stop it right here. And there's this preview. See where it says 15 seconds right there? I might go to 10 seconds. Or should I go 5 seconds? Let's go 10 seconds. And so what I want to do is I want to do full frame. I'm going to just go 2x scale right now just to see what that looks like. And I'm going to say preview. And so what it's going to do right now is it's going to download the model based on this footage. And it's going to download the model from the web, and then it's going to process it on my local computer. So we might glitch out here. I'm recording this at the same time it's processing it. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, it's got 21 seconds left, 22, 21, 19. I left the stabilization over here full frame at 50% strength. I didn't click on shutter, jittery, whatever that is. I left the video type as progressive because it is. And I didn't add any noise, and I recovered the detail only at 20% because this is a real bad video. It's through a window on an airplane, and the window looks like it has some scratches on it. So, you know, it's like, how good is it really going to be, right? So, oh, it's done. Okay. I'm like, oh. So now, see this little area right here? This is the 10 seconds that it rendered. So let's take a look at it. So the one on the right is the stabilization. And you notice this little black thing is changing. It's because it's finding the center subject and it's stabilizing it. And so check this out. So we're going to go into that. Boom. Wow. Look how shaky it is on the left. And over here on the right, it's smooth. That's what we want. That's what we want. And it's actually brought some of the detail back, even though there's a lot of scratches and a lot of noise in this. If we really were going to do it right, we would take it to a professional lab, clean these pictures off, making sure there's no scratches. I think these were just debris that got into whomever was taking this off for me, and whatever little tiny hairs are on those film at the time, they come through. That one looks really bad. Look at that right there. But you know what's interesting? Oh, you know what? There might be some interoperability. I see these little lines, but that could have just been because I froze it at that time. I don't think I'm going to I don't think I have to deinterlace it because it still looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm still going to stick with my original gut feel. Now, the other thing I can do is take the same footage and then 4x it on the scale. Notice here you can also go HD. HD is 19, but it'll crop it a certain way. And let me go 5 seconds on that one. HD would be, I mean, I don't know what it's going to do. It might crop. I think it's going to crop the sides off for us. So we'll see. Or the top and bottom is what it does. So down here, by the way, this is the enhancements, and this is the progressive, the video type I was talking about. AI model is this right here, and then the parameters are just auto. I usually just leave it at auto. Okay, so that's done. Let's take a look. Yeah, so right away I see that during that section, I don't know if you noticed it, but it gave you sides. It put on each side here and here a little bar, because obviously it can't be HD really. But I want to 4x it and see what that does. Let's do this one more time. I'm going to do it right here, and I'm going to preview this. Oh, I think I didn't hit 4x, I hit 2x. Almost done. We'll let that go, but I'm going to do 4x, and I want to preview that. So we got 10 seconds left, or 11 seconds, 12 seconds. It's going up. It shouldn't be going up. It should be going down. It could be because I have a lot of stuff open right now. I have this rendering app that I'm rendering this video that I'm recording myself talking to you in. Plus I'm rendering this. So it's taken a little bit of resources here. Bear with me just a second. Okay, so it's done. Let's take a look. I don't know. I almost like just the 2x better. I'm just going to 2x it, and we're going to stabilize it, which we do, and I'm going to export this. Okay, so now it's going through that, and it's taking it right now. And if you notice that when I hover over it, this is going to be the file name right here. It's the file name that originated from part 1, and it added that _1 when I was rendering it from Premiere Pro. And this stab means stability, and this prob 4 is just the model, or the AI model that I'm using. So now it's already gone through step 1 of 2, and now it's going to do the second step to render the video. And notice that it says about 4 minutes left. So I'm going to just let it go, and we're going to come back when that's done. Okay, we're back, and now let's take a look at the before and after. We did just render this one, and that's right here. So it did upscale it, and it stabilized it. And when it upscaled it and it stabilized it, it does look a little bit better. I also did another version here. Let's see if I can find it for you, where, let's see, I want to run these side by side. So I'll bring up VCL Player. So we're going to do the stabilization version, and then we're going to do the regular non-stabilized version. So the one on the left is not, I did something different on the one on the left. The one on the left is it's this one right here. It's the fix focus, or focus fix. When I do that, you can't 2x it. You can't, because watch this. When I hit standard, boom, it changes it back to original, because it needs to disable what it's doing, it's downscaling it to upscale. But sometimes when I've seen this do this before, is that it doesn't do what you expected, because it actually makes it look more smooth, or too smooth. So if I looked at both of these, see how smooth this looks already just as a still frame? This one has a little bit more of a texture on the right. And so I wanted to try and test it. And I did do strong, by the way. It was a strong focus fix. But if I run these side by side now, yeah, I still like the one on the right a little bit better, because there's a little bit of details. And the one on the right, notice that it is a lot of, there's more stabilization happening. You can see the bottom jumping around. If I was in Premiere Pro, I'd crop this out down here and over here, and then you wouldn't even be able to see that, which we could do as well. There's still some fragments on the screen. There's more texture on the right. I think I like the right overall because of that reason. Let's compare it with the original. Okay, so the one on the left is the original, and then this one over here. Let's see if I can pause it just the right moment. The one on the left is the original. The one on the right is the enhanced. You know, there's not much difference, but you can see more detail and more smooth. It did clean up the static on the one on the right. So I do say overall it's better. Yeah, look at that. Well, let me get out of the way for you so you can see it. Yeah, see, so the one on the right, you can already see the jitters are gone. There's a little bit of jittering going on, but overall, it's a lot better than it was before. And notice the textures of the clouds. You can still see on both of these. Yeah, this one. And there's the plume, the ash plume from Mount St. Helens, pushing through the clouds in the atmosphere. And this is on June 12th, 1980. And then I kind of pan back a little bit. We're passing it now. We're north of Mount St. Helens, northwest. And we're looking back at the mountain from that vantage point. And it's almost out of camera range, and there it goes. So yeah, overall, I think this has really been a great success. I might clean it up here, and if I do, I'll just show that to you next, so you don't have to worry about, you don't have to wait through me doing that, but it's basically just cropping that out and just having it on a normal film. But I think overall, I'm really impressed with the results that Topaz AI Enhancer did. So if you like this video, click on the like and subscribe. And if you want to see that other video I talked about where I replicated my experience in being on the Ferris wheel at Oaks Park at Portland, seeing the big ash plume exploding when Mount St. Helens erupted. I didn't take a picture that day because I forgot my camera. I left it at home, but I wanted to see it while it was still erupting. It was just amazing. I'd never seen anything like it. But if you want to see what AI came up with to replicate that, check this one out. And until next time, I'll see you in the next video.